Holy man. What up, everybody? How's everybody doing today?
Good.
All right. Good to hear. Let's give it another minute. If anybody else pops up. And then I will get started because I have a very important meeting at 1:30, apparently. All right, let's see here. Okay. Almost there. Anybody got any questions, comments, concerns, anything at this point from what you've looked at or done yesterday? Did anybody start thinking about what career path for their studio space that they want to design? Don't all jump at once. I know that the level of excitement in here is incredible. Or you can put it in the chat. Has anybody started doing any of my work? Bueller? Anyone?
I did the 3 paragraphs.
Well, thank you, Deshauna. Okay, my microphone is working. All right, cool. I appreciate it. What do you want to do?
I'm doing 2 things.
Oh,
Being a photographer and video editor.
sweet. That's my background. Is photography is my main background. And that back when we shot film, before shooting film was cool. It is pretty amazing to see how things have changed just in my short period here on Earth. But we basically, when I was in college shooting really, really old film cameras that we had to hold together. I went to a really expensive college. We used to have to use duct tape to hold the camera together and cover the cracks in it so the film wouldn't get exposed and ruin the picture. So it is pretty amazing to see. It's kind of funny because cameras years ago that you would have paid thousands of dollars for, you get better resolution out of a smartphone. So it is pretty exciting to see how the technology changes. It makes it a lot more accessible for people. All right, let's see here. Okay. So we have, all right, we got a good group today. Cool. If you can, please, I know most of you have cameras at this point, please turn your cameras on for me. You will get actually more points for your work ethic if you do turn your cameras on. Please keep it PG, if you could, when you turn your cameras on. Okay, so let's just jump in. So a little kind of recap from yesterday. I said we are giving out the laptops. It's working out pretty good so far. We've given out 8 of them. We are currently in the process of getting a list together of the students that have taken the quizzes, passed them, and have at least a C or better in the program. As I said before, those students are going to get priority first. Okay, Jordan, what did I just say? Uh-oh. Who are you talking to? Your mic's off.
Oh, so my little brother was like from behind.
If he wants to run behind and wave, that's fine. Let's get it over with. All right. So moving on. As I said before, I'm getting, students are participating. They're finishing up the quizzes. Their work is done, et cetera, et cetera. As I mentioned the day before, if you have at least a C or better, you passed all the quizzes, you're going to get your laptop first. And we are setting up right now, Mr. Folk, my co-teacher, is generating a list right now, and we will set up days at the end of the week for you to come and get your laptop. Hopefully, it can be done mostly during the day. Your parent, guardian, whoever can come, drop you off. I can smile, wave at you real quick, hand you your laptop. We are also making a quick tutorial video on actually opening them up, logging in, what the password is, what the login is to get those set up. But like I said, there's some pretty excited students the last couple of days checking out stuff. I don't know if there are any students on here right now that are from Lower Merion, but unfortunately, Lower Merion has decided to go all virtual this week, starting today. So for my students that are returning that have been coming into class here on Fridays, you will not be here Friday, but I will still coordinate a time with you to come in and get your laptop, okay? And I guess that's it really to kind of just cover over that. And the fact that, like I said, we're not that it's really affecting anybody on the screen that I'm looking at right now, except for Ariana, is that we are all virtual starting next week. All kinds of rumors are going around. Philly is not going back to school until January. That does not apply to Montgomery County. I hope not. I want to get kids back in here as soon as possible because that is just less emails that I got to type. So, you know, if you hear anything, like I heard this, Mr. McCarthy, I heard that, I'm not sure about this, just text me, email me, and I will let you know fact from fiction. Usually we educators kind of find stuff out a little bit before everybody else. So if you're concerned that you heard a rumor about, you know, oh, now all the schools are closed and blah, 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 just, you know, hit me up first before you start, you know, getting nervous about, you know, what you heard. So that being said, if anybody has any questions, like I said, please feel free to put them into the chat. But right now, I am going to quickly jump over and share my screen with you. Okay. I just want to get into this because, like I said, I got about 15 more minutes to get you started here. And like I said, we started yesterday. Hey, Mr. Folk, can you come here for a sec? All right, give me 2 seconds. So I'm showing you the project before. Where, oh, is it over here? What? Never mind, I want to see where my chat is. Oh, where's the chat? Here's chat. Aha!
Should
All
be
right,
in the
sorry about-
bottom bar, just saying.
Oh, thank you. You know what it is? I run dual monitors. So the stuff gets moved around. Like you can see here, I'm sitting on my laptop, but I have a monitor right next to me where I have everything else. So one day the chat's over here, the next day it's over there. Eventually you'd think I'd get this organized, but you know. So let me just show you this real quick. We talked yesterday about what I think is a pretty cool project. It's designing your own workspace. You know, we talked before about the career paths and the choices that you might want to go into. Now, you may start out saying, I want to be in audio, and by the time you're done this program, you might want to be in video. It doesn't matter, but for the time being, we want you to start thinking about these career paths and what's involved, and there's no better way to think about that is to figure out what your workspace is going to be like once you start working in this industry. So scrolling down a bit, I talked before, woo, what just happened? Sorry about that. That was pretty crazy. Let's go back. Okay. So scrolling down, it's just a basic introduction, but please, I know there's a lot of stuff on here. And I do want to try and figure out a way to kind of break this down even more, like into smaller chunks, but it's a lot of long-winded stuff, but I like to write an objective, you know, like I like to write here, you know, why are we learning this? What's the reason for it? I don't like to just put stuff out there and say, go do that. So you might go, oh, there's a paragraph, but you know, read it. I try to put things into context for you. You know, what are we doing from the last project that's going to carry over into this project? And to give you that information. I tend to give you too much information, but pick and choose what you want. But I would hope that you look at it all. So there's just some really good little videos in the beginning. And this is your overview page. This is telling you and I may break this down a little bit more. So if you see the page change tomorrow, which is why I always tell you, go into Schoology every day, check our website every day, check our YouTube channel. It takes 2 minutes to do all that. Check your email and really kind of get in front of what's going on for the day. But you may see this page change where it just might break down into smaller pieces. But that's only in an effort to try and help you kind of break things down a little bit more day to day. And then, of course, the resources on the bottom that you would need. So jumping over, the first thing that I asked everybody to do is to write a job proposal, okay? I put that right here. So I've actually done this because I do have a side business. I have a side hustle that I've had for quite some time. I'm still a professional photographer. I used to shoot weddings and events and all kinds of stuff, but now I tend to do more product photography, social media work, web design, but I still have a side business. So when I have off for the summer or, at night or on the weekends, I can make some extra money and also be able to show you all the cool stuff that I do to kind of show you I have a little cred that I actually work in this industry. I'd be happy also, I could even show you the link to my own personal website when I go to try and promote myself, which I can't believe I didn't do that when I asked everybody to build their website. But when you apply for money, you want to try and get grants. Grants are free money. But if you're applying for a loan at, say, Wells Fargo Bank or, any other of the local banks in the area, you kind of have to have a game plan. You can't just go in unless you're trying to rob the place and say, give me money. But you have to go in there with a business plan. You have to have an idea. Why should I give you $10,000? So, kind of building on that, it's having that level of confidence and public speaking and be able to communicate. I know most of us communicate through text and Zoom and all this, but eventually we're going to walk into a bank and meet with someone and say, I have an idea for a business and I'd like for you to, support me and give me a loan. And they're going to say, why? Who are you? Why are you going to do better than anybody else that's trying to do this? So you write, your plan. And actually we'll be doing something during December and January where we start talking about goals. But this kind of builds upon that where, pretend that you did, have the ability to get a loan for $10,000. But before we do that, I just want you to write 3 paragraphs. That's a minimum. Now, if you love to write and you're fluent with the English language, please write more. I'd love to see it. When I write though, if it says create a document in Google Docs that's 3 paragraphs, and then I tell you a paragraph is 5 to 8 sentences and you're writing 4 and 5 sentences, you're getting 50 points for it. If you're doing the bare minimum, you're probably going to get 30 points for it. So putting that little bit extra, believe it or not, most business plans like this are 5 pages. I'm not asking for a whole lot, but I'm just trying to get you to understand the process. So I'm being, fairly polite by saying, look, I just need a page on what you're trying to do. Now, in the future, before you graduate, we'll start talking about these proposals and the things that you want to do, especially if you want to own your own business. But like I said, you're going to break those paragraphs into 3 sections. Who are you and what is your business going to be? What's the name? Do you have a name for it already? If you don't, I would think, you should come up with something that matches your business. Give them a little bit of background. Just don't say, my name is Fred McCarthy and I am going to be a photographer. Nobody, you need to say, I'm a local photographer from the area, 25 years experience. I have a passion for portrait photography and I want to open up my own portrait studio. So you have to tell the story, okay? And we talk about that all throughout this program, is telling the story, whether it's a script or a video or a song. You need to tell your story. So remember that for the first part. Second part is probably the most important. What equipment do you need? So, to go on top of what Deshauna said, she's, I'm going to be a photographer. Okay, well, you need a camera. But what else do you need? You need professional lighting. You need tripods. You need, reflectors. You might need money for props. And more importantly, you need a computer to put it all on. So it's, 10 grand sounds like a lot. It's not a lot when you really start getting into this. Some of the other industries, video and sound, video, you can spend $10,000 on a camcorder. Same thing with sound, on a good soundboard. So, start to look at what equipment costs. Okay. Go out there and do a search, professional digital cameras, video cameras. And then you can start to look and see what the stuff costs and what the difference is and the features. And we're going to teach you more about that. Okay. Does anybody own a camera now other than a smartphone, like an actual camera? All right, there's one. What kind do you have? Do you know?
I accidentally meant no.
Okay. A lot of the beginning camera, like the big names are like Canon, Nikon. There's Sony's a big one now, and they all have a lot of different types that are out there. But really, start to look around and see what's available and see what's out there. So moving on, I wanted to kind of just go to the last part. How much do you really expect to make your first year? And what would you do to market your business? So marketing is always a big part of what we do here. The reason why I said how much do you expect to make, if you remember when you did your first assignment for the career path, you had to look up what the salary scale was. So if you're going to make $50,000 a year as a photographer, because that's what it says the average photographer makes, and you're going to write down you're going to make $500,000, I would love to know how you're going to do it. Okay. So make sure you start to keep those things in mind and you can put that into your paperwork, okay? For those of you that are just joining in or that are still with us, please turn your cameras on for me. This is becoming mandatory, so I would ask that you please turn them on. Unfortunately, a week ago, all I heard in the background was a kid snoring and his name, okay? So please turn them on. Don't make me seek you out personally, each person, and email you and read you the riot act on why you need to turn your cameras on. If you do not have a camera on your computer, you need to tell me if it doesn't work, so I can make arrangements and not knock your grade every day because you're not turning it on. Okay. And I know most of you are getting Chromebooks. Chromebooks got cameras on them. Okay. Same thing with some of you from Upper and Lower Merion. You're getting Mac. You're getting Apple computers, and I know they got cameras on them too. So please turn your cameras on. Okay. Moving on. So if we go to the lectures, okay, now we're going to start using words that are going to be related to the program that we're going to be using and the type of program. So we're going to be using Google Draw. It's an easy program. I'm going to show you real quick how to get into it so you can start playing around a little bit. But before you even really start going in here and messing around, think about your business plan, how you're going to write it. Take the time to think about it. Just don't start typing. Look around, see what cool studios look like. Type in professional photography studio, a budget studio, a high-end studio, where they're located. You could type in photo studio in New York and then really kind of get some ideas on where you want to be and what you want to use. Or you say the most needed equipment for photographers. And then you really kind of start to understand. And this is how people start to run businesses. They start to do some research. It's not like they're going to go to another business and say, hey, can you set me up a business just like yours so I can eventually take your business from you? So you have to kind of get into it on your own in the beginning and start to figure things out. But I'm going to start to introduce you into things, the vocabulary terms that we use, like what are vector graphics. Vector graphics are illustrated graphics. And anytime you design a logo or you see a drawing of a house or something on a computer, that is what's considered vector. So we'll go through those words tomorrow. But since it is day 2, I would like for you to check out these videos. And once again, I always try to give you short videos on using Google Drawings, okay? If you've never used it, I'm going to show you real quick how to access it. But ultimately, this is what I'm looking for at the end, okay? Are these blueprint drawings like you see here, okay? So let's start with that. If I go to my Google page, okay? I got too much stuff going on here. Okay, here's my Google account. Okay, so if I click here, I want you to go to Google Drive. Okay, and I'll put these instructions down. So when you go to your Google Drive account, it's not one that we gave you, but whatever one that you have that is tied to either your school email, or you could even use ours, doesn't matter. You want to go into new, because it doesn't have its own icon. It's not like Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Slides. So you click on folder. I'm sorry, you don't do that. You click on, let's go back again. You click here, you go to Drive, okay? We click new, and then you're going to scroll down to more, and you see Google Drawings, okay? Now you'll see this load up, and you can start to give it a name. And my initials are, I'll just do Fred M, and I'll just do photo, because that's going to be mine. So you can start to look at this and say, well, what direction are we looking at? Is this the right setup? Do we want to flip the document? You want to flip the document in whatever direction. We'll just leave it this way for now. But there's a lot of different features in here that you can see that are very similar to, say, Microsoft Word, and some other different programs that you may have seen in the past. So if we scroll down here, you see we have this nice rectangular page, and we can start to figure out what we want to do. Well, we could start with shapes. Shapes are usually the easy way to go. There's arrows. There's all different types of things that you can see in here. Okay, so let's go with, let's say that this could be a table. So I'm going to draw a table here. This is where I'm going to meet with my clients. I'm going to pick another shape, and this is going to be a flat screen on the wall. Let's say we also want to do, and really it's just about kind of messing around, having a little bit of fun with it at this point. So let's say here's a desk that I want to have, okay? But I want to flip it. And if you see, that actually duped it. But if you click on it, you see all these different points come on, okay? And you'll notice that you can actually sit there, make it bigger, make it smaller. If you click on this, you can see it'll rotate. So now I have my desk right here, and then I have my flat screen. So now you can start to kind of understand how you're going to build this out. If you want to put a partition, for example, like you're meeting with these clients here, let's go back to the square, and then I'm going to pretend that this is a wall, like a meeting room. So here's one wall. Well, now I can actually right click on it, and I can actually copy it if I wanted to, and then just, do the old copy and paste, and then I can start to build a wall. Okay. Now I'm just doing this really quick. Obviously this is not a very good room because there's no door. So we want to leave a little bit of space like that. Now you can really start to mess with colors and say, this is the color of my table. This is the color of my other table. So it really doesn't matter. You want to have a nice color scheme though. You can even, I love to give bonus points for cool ideas. If you just want to put a plant in the corner, you could sit here and say, here's a pretty room. If you hold the shift key down, it'll keep the proportion. So you can say this is a flower pot. And it's really just kind of up to you what you want to do. You can almost say that this is just a plant sitting inside. Now you can trust me when I say you can get a little bit more creative with it than I am right now. But here's a nice plant. Okay. But you want to be able to give what's called a legend or an idea of what it is. So if you kind of, if you refer back here, you'll see this is a great example right here. This is actually showing you what all those things mean. It's a little blurry, but that's fine. But you see the shapes that were used? This gives you an example down here of what they all mean. Because I'm not going to know what it means if you were just kind of popping stuff, funky shapes. I can kind of get an idea, but if there's something and I don't really know what it is, I have to understand it because you're submitting this blueprint to a construction company for them to build it. So you can kind of see these look like cameras. These are lights. These are TVs on the wall. You know, the desk over here. Here's another TV. Here's a table and 3 chairs. It's a typical setup for a video room to do recording. Okay. So make sure that you're putting things like that into your design. This is going to take a little bit of time for you to do. You could make this multiple pages. Like I said, you can dedicate the bottom. So, you know, you can, let's say you want to put, you know, 4 or 5 tables in here. You can just keep copying them and moving them around. Okay. And then have a series of tables. But when you're done, you can actually take another one. Okay. And then make it small. Okay. And then you're going to run this along the bottom and you're going to say this is, so you have a text box right here. Just draw a box and you just call it a table. Okay. It's as simple as that. But you know, if you're going to go in and just start wildly doodling, and it's not going to work, because you could see already I'm almost out of room on this huge piece of paper. Now I can sit here and go and shrink everything down, but that's just like a whole other step, you know, to make this a functional studio. So here's my meeting room. Like I said before, my desk, you know, maybe you want a couch right here. But that's kind of the nice part. You're really not, you know, you're really just limited to what you can think of. You know, here's a nice couch. And like I said before, you know, you stay with the same kind of general color scheme. But your computer, you could draw a little computer on top of the table. So let's just say this is a graphic designer's room and you do web design. So you have a nice little table to do web design. You can show people on TV what your designs are. You can have multiple people sit on the couch while they're looking. And if you want to be all official, you can go into a meeting room and discuss it first. Okay. So it slowly starts to, you know, become something. If you're doing an audio studio, you're going to have to put, you know, this might be your sound room. And then over here is like the couch where everybody hangs out. And there's a mixing table right here where everybody contributes. So, you know, just think creative. There's so many things. You can actually import photos. If you want to put photos in, please do not upload pictures of chairs and tables and TVs and create it. You know, the whole point is using this vector-based software. And the reason for that is, here's something pretty cool that you can do too. I forgot. You can go and make lines, arrows, connectors, all kinds. You can scribble. So if you want to draw a custom shape, you could do it like that. You know, if there's something there that there's a shape you want to make that you just can't get. But there's a lot of cool kind of creative things that are in here. And those videos that I gave you are really helpful too, to help you, you know, begin to do it. And the big reason why you use vector-based art, I could take this picture, and it's probably 8.5 by 11. I could print this the size of a billboard, and it would have no loss in quality. Now, if you were to do that with a photo, photos are based on what's called pixels. So if you took a pixelized picture off your smartphone and blew it up the size of a wall, it's going to get all fuzzy. Well, vector-based imagery is using mathematical equations to come up with these squares and shapes and plants and all the stuff that I just made. So sometimes you see blueprints are on huge rolls of paper. Well, when you use them with this kind of software, there's no loss in quality in it. So it's a pretty cool little thing. But I would tell you today, it's Tuesday, try and have those proposals written and ready to go. I'm actually going to take this video now and upload yesterday's video and this video to Schoology, and I'm going to upload the assignment. The assignment is actually live. It's right here. If you go to Marking Period 2, Workspace Design, and the lectures are in there too that you can start to look at. And then you'll be good to go. Okay? So does anybody have any questions, comments? I know I kind of threw a lot at you, but now's your chance. If you got a question, ask me now. You can put it in the chat box if you want. Okie dokie. Then that's it for today. And I will This is Mr. Bross that teaches right across the hall. You'll be flattered to get to meet him soon enough, but he loves to interrupt my Zoom meetings. But if nobody else has any questions, I will let you loose. And that's it. Okay. So please, do some cool stuff. Have some fun with it. It's going to be your studio. So make it look nice. Okay. Thank you, everyone.